Commissioners. So Keir Starmer being the worst offender, but many of his front bench had their snouts in the trough too. Since then, we've had constant U-turns. Now, I'm not saying don't U-turn, but on all...
Right, so let me get this straight. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the man who's supposed to be leading us through economic turmoil, international crises, and the general chaos of modern Britain, has decided that what the nation really needs right now is his hot take on a Netflix documentary about adolescence with his son. Because that's exactly what we were all asking for, wasn't it? Forget the NHS waiting lists, forget the cost of living crisis, forget literally everything else happening in this country right now. But before we proceed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates on the UK political insight. Thank you. What Britain truly needed was Keir Starmer's parenting diary entry about how tough it was to watch telly with his kid. Absolutely brilliant. Pack it up, everyone. Problem solved. The country's fixed now because our Prime Minister has feelings about streaming content. Welcome back to UK Political Insight, where we dive headfirst into the absolute circus that is British politics. And today, we've got a proper corker for you. GB News presenter Nana Akua has absolutely demolished Keir Starmer with what might be the most savage 7-word description of our dear Prime Minister's popularity. And honestly, once you hear it, you'll never unsee it. But before we get to that glorious moment, we need to talk about the full rant, because this wasn't just a quick jab. This was a comprehensive takedown that left no stone unturned, no feelings spared, and absolutely no prisoners taken. So Nana starts off by saying she saw something that she thought must be either a joke or AI, which is already a brilliant opening because in 2025, that could literally be anything. Could be a deepfake, could be satire, could be an actual government policy. Who even knows anymore? But no, it was real. It was our Prime Minister discussing how challenging it was to watch a Netflix show with his son. Now, I'm not a parent, but I'm fairly certain that if the most difficult thing happening in Keir Starmer's life right now is processing his feelings about a documentary series, then he's either completely disconnected from the reality facing ordinary British people, or he's got the easiest job in the country. Spoiler alert, it's not the second one. Akua didn't just leave it there, though, did she? Oh no, she then accused him of essentially using his son to appear more relatable and garner sympathy. And you know what? She might have a point, because when you're languishing in approval ratings that make a root canal look appealing, sometimes politicians think the answer is to remind everyone that they're human too. They've got families, they watch Netflix, they struggle with the same things you do. Except they don't, do they? Because while you're struggling to pay your energy bills and wondering if you can afford to turn the heating on this winter, Starmer's biggest concern is processing his emotions about teenage development documentaries. Really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? But wait, it gets better. Akua then plays a clip of Starmer literally tripping at a public event and brands him the UK version of Joe Biden. Now that is absolutely savage, because we all remember Biden's various stumbles and tumbles, don't we? The stairs of Air Force One became his nemesis. And now apparently, Starmer is following in those wobbly footsteps. Look, I'm not saying physical coordination is a requirement for political leadership, but when you're already struggling in the polls, maybe try not to faceplant in public. Just a thought, just putting that out there. Optics matter, especially when you're already in the gutter popularity-wise. Then comes the absolute knockout punch, these 7 words that have been echoing around British political commentary ever since Akua said them. Are you ready for this? Because it's brutal. It's harsh. It's also, according to recent polling, not entirely inaccurate. Nana Akua said that Keir Starmer is about as popular as a bucket of sick. A bucket of sick. Not just regular sick, mind you, a whole bucket of it. Now that is imagery you cannot shake. That's the kind of description that sticks with you, haunts you, follows you around like a bad smell, which, given the metaphor, is entirely appropriate. And she didn't stop there, though, because why would she when she's on this kind of roll? She pointed out that since being elected 17 months ago, Starmer has been on 42 trips abroad. 42. That's nearly 3 trips per month. Now, either he's desperately trying to promote Britain on the international stage, or he's doing what any sensible person would do when they're deeply unpopular at home, which is to get as far away as physically possible. Can't be criticized by British voters if you're never actually in Britain, can you? That's just smart thinking, really. Questionable leadership, but smart avoidance tactics. Moving on from Starmer, because apparently one political punching bag wasn't enough for Akua, she then turned her sights on Chancellor Rachel Reeves. Now, Reeves has had a rough time of it lately, and Akua absolutely did not hold back. She described her as always drowning in her own tears and completely out of her depth. Harsh? Maybe. But then Akua dropped some actual statistics that make things even worse. Rachel Reeves was voted the least popular chancellor ever. Ever. That's not least popular this year or this decade. That's in the entire recorded history of people having opinions about chancellors. That's quite an achievement, really, just not the kind you want on your CV. But it gets even more spectacular. And by spectacular, I mean absolutely catastrophic. In a recent YouGov poll, when asked how many people felt Labour was doing a good job on the economy, the answer was 0%. Not 2%, not even 1%. Zero. Actual zero. That means in a country of millions of people, not a single person surveyed thought Labour was handling the economy well. That's not a failure. That's a masterclass in how to unite a nation in their complete and utter disappointment in your economic management. It's almost impressive how they've comprehensively managed to achieve unanimous disapproval. Just when you think Akua might be done, might be ready to wrap things up, she throws in one more politician for good measure, because apparently it's not a proper rant unless you hit the hat trick. Enter Sadiq Khan, mayor of London, who according to Akua is also escaping his problems at home by jetting off abroad. Specifically, Khan flew business class to Africa with 11 staff members, costing taxpayers £83,000. Now, to be fair to Khan, he said the purpose was to promote London, but here's where it gets interesting. When you break down those costs, you realize that nearly £70,000 went on flights alone, with another 11 grand on hotels. That's a lot of money to spend promoting a city that, last I checked, people already know exists. London's not exactly a hidden gem that needs marketing, is it? The Express obtained these figures through City Hall, and they show every penny spent. Ground transport was over £1,000, food was nearly £3,000. That's quite the grocery bill for a business trip. Makes you wonder what they were eating, doesn't it? But Khan defended the trip, saying it was necessary for promoting London and South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana. And maybe it was. Maybe there are vital business connections being made. Or maybe, just maybe, when things are rough at home, a nice business class flight to Africa with your mates sounds quite appealing. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying I understand the temptation. What makes Akua's entire rant so effective, though, beyond just the savage one-liners and the brutal honesty, is that she's tapping into something real. She's giving voice to a frustration that millions of British people feel right now. There's a sense that our politicians are disconnected from reality, that they're more concerned with their image and their international jaunts than with the actual problems facing ordinary people. When your prime minister is talking about his Netflix viewing habits while people are choosing between hating and eating, when your chancellor has achieved the remarkable feat of 0% approval on economic management, when your London mayor is spending tens of thousands on foreign trips, it's hard not to feel like something's gone badly wrong somewhere. The beauty of Akua's approach is that she doesn't just criticize, she uses humor to make her point. That click of Starmer tripping, comparing him to Biden, calling him as popular as a bucket of sick. These aren't just insults, they're memorable, shareable moments that cut through the usual political commentary. They're the kind of things that stick in people's minds, that get repeated in pubs and shared on social media. And in today's media landscape, that matters. You can have all the facts and figures you want, but if you can't make people actually pay attention, what's the point?